Nestled in the Gulf of Maine, off New Hampshire's coast, lies a small island, home to a thriving seabird population. It's here that Dr. Elizabeth Craig, Director of Seabird Research for the Shoals Marine Lab, spends her summers monitoring terns.
This is one of ours. Can I have is that a fresh bag? Yes. Terns are small seabirds. They're closely related to gulls. They're very highly migratory, so they are breeding here in New Hampshire, but they're traveling all the way south, some as far as Argentina in the wintertime, and then coming back here to breed in the summer.
3 types of terns nest on Seavey Island in the Isles of Shoals: the common tern, the roseate tern, and the Arctic tern. The most abundant is the common tern.
Over the years, the population of common terns has increased and increased till now it's about 3,000 pairs that breed here, and it's leveled off around 3,000. That's probably the carrying capacity in terms of how many nests can even fit on these islands.
But this hasn't always been the case.
Historically, there was a colony of terns that we know about that were breeding on Lunging Island right behind us. That colony was active right until the 1950s, and for a number of decades, the terns were extirpated from this part of the Gulf of Maine. So from the 1950s through the 1990s, there were no terns breeding in the Isles of Shoals, and that's the point at which New Hampshire Fish and Game and New Hampshire Audubon decided to try to attract terns back to the Isles of Shoals by creating a new breeding colony, this time on White and Seavey Islands, which are state-owned property.
In 1997, New Hampshire Fish and Game and New Hampshire Audubon began the reintroduction process.
We used a process called social attraction, and it basically takes advantage of the fact that terns, like other seabirds, like to nest in colonies. So if you make the island look and sound and feel like an active nesting colony, it will attract other birds to nest there. So in those early years, they put out decoys and played calls so that the island looked like an active tern colony. And even in that first year, they were successful in attracting real birds to come down to create their own nests.
However, maintaining the island's habitat is crucial to keep the birds coming back.
We're looking to create new nesting areas by thinning vegetation and exposing more rock where they put their nests. And then also, when the chicks start to fledge out of their nests, they're running around through the vegetation, and they need it to be thin enough to provide them cover but also access.
We're doing that by doing a prescribed burn. Waited till the birds have left, so they're here from June through July, into August a little bit. Now they're left on migration, and we're here to burn the grass and duff.
Other types of habitat management that we've tried are introducing a lot of salt into the environment. So salt is a natural form of suppression for lots of plants in upland habitats like this.
For the terns of Seavey Island, it's been an incredible journey.
Every year we're monitoring the colony in the same consistent way so that we can see how it's changing over time. One aspect that we're monitoring is the number of birds that are breeding there. So once a year at the peak of incubation, we'll go out and count every single nest on the colony. So that tells us how many birds are breeding on the island. Throughout the season, we're also monitoring the success of a set of individual nests. So we want to know what's the average clutch size, or how many eggs are they laying, how successful are those eggs at hatching, and then how successful are the parents at actually raising those chicks to fledge.
Establishing a tern colony on the Isles of Shoals has been a success, but ongoing support is essential.
If we step away and don't continue to manage the habitat and manage for predators, those issues will come back up, and eventually the colony will collapse again. So it's something that we've invested in and will continue to invest in over time.